do it to my students, that I can show it to you. Okay, so this is theoretical area. I just want to go a little fast. So what is taxation education? Taxation is a dynamic and a practical subject. So the beauty of the subject tax is it can be discussed as a theory paper as well as it can be discussed as a practical paper. That's the beauty of taxation. So if you want to speak tax as a theory to the students, we can speak, and we can speak lot of cases, and then we can tell them, this is what the tax is doing. And then 2 days back, I was teaching set off and the carry forward of losses. That's a topic I was discussing. And then I gave 2 3 business incomes for businesses. Business A, there is a loss. Business B, there is a profit. Business C, there is a loss which is discontinued during the previous year. And business D, discontinued in the last year, but there is a brought forward business loss. I was discussing so to my with my students, and one student asked me this question: why the companies are going with many businesses? Very simple. That may be a reason for tax planning too, because as you know that a loss from one business can be adjusted against the profit from another business, right? So even that may be a tax planning practice. So that's what the interesting question I used to get from my students. But the complete class went like a theoretical class, and I didn't complete the problem. I didn't solve the problem. But the discussions were going in different level, and the students started quoting, "Oh, that's the reason." If you look at the salt packet, right? Salt pack is the Tata Salt or different company brands salts are coming. So the discussions went in a different level, right? So that's why I said it's a very beautiful subject. It need not be with between the chalk and board, right? So we can also discuss at a very general level. So that was theoretical and practical understanding. So first we need to understand theoretically as well as we need to understand in a practical way, and it's an effective technique to improve tax awareness. Okay, so that's these are all the introduction about to understand the tax laws and to develop tax computing skills and to promote tax compliance and ethics among the students. Okay, so to create the responsibility among them to pay the tax, because most of the people who are paying tax, we all do want to pay the tax. So in this session, I can ask you people, how many of you wants to pay the tax really, right? So that's a question I can ask. The majority of the people will say no, I don't want to pay the tax. But even if they want to pay the tax, then I can ask them one question. Then why are you going to Pondicherry to buy a car? So in Karnataka, with the Pondicherry registration and Tamil Nadu registration, the reason is very simple. To avoid the tax, the people in Karnataka sometimes they buy the vehicle in other states. Okay, so I was using Tamil Nadu vehicle by the police people, and then I showed them, sir, I paid the tax for this state, so now I'm using my vehicle here. So I never had a problem, right? So that's an issue. So promote tax complaints and ethics and prepare professional practice. Okay, so these are all the objectives of teaching and learning of taxation. So what are the traditional teaching methods or the techniques we have in our taxation classes? And the first one is lecture method. We refer our background with the police people, and then I showed them, sir, I paid the tax for this state, so now I'm using my vehicle here. So I never had a problem, right? So textbook based learning. Okay, so tax direct taxation by few books we refer our Begrowth, right? So we refer for our tax classes, and then we discuss the subject in tax classes. Yeah, I think I'm connected only. Right. Sorry, once again. Yeah. So then the problem solving method and the chalk and talk approach. So these are all the traditional methods we follow. So now we are also using the case study methods to learn the subjects income tax and then other tax subjects. So use of real life tax cases. So always I used to go with my cases to the class. So I refer this book called Students Guide to Income Tax by Income Tax and GST, right, by Monica Sincania and Vinod K. Sincania, Taxman publication. So wherein you can refer more of cases, right? So it's like the problem will be given like a case. So it won't be given like an adjustments, right? So it will be given as a paragraph in a very simple way. If you want me to, tell you people, it will be given like a paragraph, right? So the complete story of an individual, the complete income earned by him during the previous year will be given as like a case, so that I can, it's easy for me to, compile all the provisions of salary or the provisions of house property or all the directions. Okay, so we can explain in a very simple way, and then understanding the legal implications. So that's another way of teaching taxation. So through the legal implications. So what happened to a person, right? So just because he that's another advantage of case study method, and it connects the theory with practice. Okay, and these are all the few experiential and practical learning we can conduct in our income tax classes or in our taxation classes. So the first one is hands-on tax computation that we usually do it, right? So, and now the people can ask me this question, sir, can we make it as an evidence for our IQAC purpose? Yes, you can do it. I am doing it. So I'm taking my students to the lab and I'm filing my income tax in front of my students, and then it's an experiential learning to them. So they got a practical exposure here. There is a practical learning to them, right? So which I'm documenting it. So I'm just submitting to the IQAC for the and documentation purpose. We can do it. Okay, so mock income tax return filing. So we have a lot of softwares. Like one software is the Clear Tax, right? So we have India filing, and likewise we have many softwares. I'll give you a few list of softwares which can be used on regular classes. I think Clear Tax is the best software can be used, and you can also show how the tax liability of an individual can be calculated quickly, right? Then understanding the tax forms. So we can show the tax forms to the students, and then you can make them to understand, and then simulated assessment. So these are all the different ways of experiential and the practical learning opportunities in taxation, right? And then what about the technology based teaching techniques in taxation? So what all we can do? The first one is income tax portal demonstration. So which I'll be doing at the end. That will be the last discussion of the day. And then the e-learning platforms, we have many now. So through that also we can learn it. And tax software, that's what I said. We have softwares like Clear Tax, and even ICAA, they came out with a software, right? Even the income tax portal, if you go, you can just check what will be your tax liability, right? So under the old regime and new regime, two options will be given. So we can provide our taxable income details and the deductions details. I'm sorry, our income details and then deduction details, and the system will generate your tax liability as per the old regime as well as the new regime. Okay, then online lectures and webinars are very common now, and through which also we can teach taxation to our students. It is not necessary that we have to use only the chalk and board. That's the best way of teaching taxations to the students. I agree, even I follow, right? But at the same time, we can blend the technology with our regular chalk and board method of teaching taxations to our students, because every day, if you speak the same cloud, every day we are using the same cloud, sometimes we can differentiate it with different adjustments. Okay, through that also we will do it, and we are all expert in that. But still, these are all the technology based teaching techniques which makes our classes very interesting. Okay, so when I use the softwares and when I show something, demonstrate something to the students, they could correlate, right? So when I was giving the directions under section 80C, I said the maximum is 1,50,000. So if I provide 2 lakh, it will take only 1,50,000. The students can make out easily, right? So under section 80 CCD, subsection 1B, so wherein I can claim additional deduction of 50,000 rupees under the NPS. Okay, so I can explain them. This is what the APC family, you can claim only 1,50,000. Above 1,50,000, you cannot claim. But in case if you have contributed towards the NPS, then you can you can claim another 50,000 rupees. So when I show it, in a in the digital form, the students were so happy to listen that, right? Then the collaborative and the interactive learning also can be done in taxation. Sir, is it possible to conduct group discussion? Yes, we can do it, right? So group discussion can be conducted because now the old regime and new regime we have. So after completing all our classes, including the calculation of final tax liability, and then the tax payable to the government, because from the tax liability we'll adjust the TDS adjusted, right? And then we will adjust the advance tax made. So and the balance amount will be payable to the government. So after finding out the tax payable calculations, so what we can do, we can ask the students to come out with a conclusion whether the new regime is better or the old regime is better. What are the problems with old regime and what are the problems with new regime? What are the advantages with the old regime and what are the advantages with the new regime and disadvantages in two regimes? So we can have a discussion. So every year I used to do in the even semester of my tax preparation. So at the end, the last week, so mostly the last week I used to keep all these kind of ICA 2. So internal and today it started internal continuous assessment 1, and then internal continuous assessment is what is that? It's experiential learning or the practical one or the assignment, seminar, quiz or group discussions or role play activities, and then the peer learning cannot be included here, and project based learning. Okay, so all these are part of it. So what I'll do, I'll have different components, and then I'll observe the performance of students through the group discussions too. Then role play activities, then seminars and presentations are very common. One student came and presented all the points, right? So what I feel, I will make a presentation, sir. Then I just gave him a title, role of A in taxation. So a few students got this topic and then they referred it, and one student have referred an article, and from the article he spoke. I just here I have included in the I can show you the PPTs. So which was used by my student in the presentation, right? And then the assessment and the evaluation technique, we know very well. So we have assignments and the projects, then practical examinations we can conduct, then case-based questions we can give. I can show you one case-based questions, and then application-oriented test also we can conduct. Okay, so now I think I have exceeded 20 minutes. So I have another maybe 38 minutes to complete my session. So I'll just start with my class assignment. So what I'm doing, see, so far I've discussed only the theoretical concept. So I think even you people knows what is case study, what is the seminar, or what is assignment, right? And what do you mean by role play and group discussions, and then the tax software, online lectures, webinars, everything we have discussed, right? Now I'll go with the class assignment. So I didn't include all the assignments of my class. I have taken only few, so which may be useful to you, and you can also go with a better version of assignment what I'm presenting here. Okay, it may not be a better one. So according to the needs of my students, I have designed a few assignment, and the first one is the DTA assignment, which is very popular in my classes. Okay, So I think you all must be knowing this avoidance of double taxation, which is not part of my syllabus. Okay, that we should agree first, right? It's not part of our syllabus, but still, since I'm working in Chennai, many of my students, and not many, few, maybe around 15 to 20% of my students, out of 80 students in my class, 15 to 20% comes to around 15 to 16 students, right? So they have a plan to go abroad, and they have a plan to go abroad for higher studies as well as to get settled over there, right? So for them, this particular topic, the DTAA, double taxation avoidance agreement, or we call it as avoidance of double taxation, right? Suppose, for example, if I earn an income outside India, right? So if I'm a resident and I'm liable to pay tax even if the income is earned and received outside India, right? I think you all must be knowing the a rule with regard to the incidence of tax, right? So if you are a resident, if an income is earned or received outside India, okay, it is not earned in India, it is not received in India, but still you are liable to pay tax to the government of India, right? In that case, sir, suppose for example, I go to Singapore, right? So I paid a tax of 20% on my income to the Singapore government. I work in Singapore and I paid 20% tax to the Singapore government. Should I pay tax to India? Yes, you have to pay the tax. But in India, the rate of tax applicable to me is 30%. So if I pay 30% on the 100 rupees I earned in Singapore, so it comes to 30 rupees. Already I paid 20 rupees to Singapore government. So which comes to 30%. So I said 20% in Singapore. There are certain countries the rate of tax may be very high, right? Or sometimes in India the rate of tax may be very high. So the people will feel very difficult, right? So that's why the government came out with a option called double taxation avoidance agreement, right? So this is with regard to the international taxation. So usually we have three different methods. One is the tax exemption method, which means whatever the income you earned from a particular country is exempted in India, right? There is no need to pay tax for this income in India. This is the tax exemption method. Second one is tax deduction method. So whatever the tax, the tax, whatever the tax you have paid over there, you can just reduce it from the tax liability in India. Okay, so that's a tax deduction method, and this is similar to tax credit method. But I'll tell you what is this tax credit method. Here, the person's income earned outside India will be added to the taxable income in India, right? And we'll find out the tax liability in India, right? So what happened? The tax, whatever is paid in other country, will be treated like a credit in India, and then it can be adjusted from the tax liability in India. So that's what tax credit method. Same like a input tax credit in GST. So on the inward supplies, we pay GST, so which can be treated as an input tax credit. It can be adjusted from the GST on my output supply or outward supply. Okay, so we call it as a tax credit, input tax credit, and the same system can be followed under the DTAA, double taxation avoidance agreements, or avoidance of double taxation. So here, what happened? I'll give this assignment, and you can just choose, analyze the double taxation avoidance agreement between India and any other country of your choice. So I'll give a choice to my students. So if a student wants to go and settle in Switzerland, so he can analyze the double taxation avoidance agreement between India and Switzerland. Or if a student wants to go to Australia, so a student can analyze the double taxation avoidance agreement between India and Australia. Okay, so this is what the web page. So I can share this PPT later to you all, right, through Shaila ma'am. So you can share, you can just view it later. You can go to that particular page, and this is the page. Can you hear? Can you see this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can see.
Yes, madam. Thank you, madam. So here directly I just came to double taxation avoidance agreement in the incometax.india.gov.in pages. Okay, so if you go there, you can find on the right hand side. So there will be a double taxation avoidance agreement. Okay, so wherein we can select all countries, right? Report. Okay, so I'm not going in. So I just asking my students. Okay, so how you can do it. I'll go with Australia, right? Let me select. It started in alphabetical order. So yeah, can you see the agreement? Agreement for avoidance of double taxation and prevention of fiscal evasion with Australia, right? So this is an agreement, whereas the annexed agreement between the government of Republic of India and the government of Australia, right? So it's a very big document. So we can go through it one by one where it is applicable, right? The different island names are given. So right, and then permanent establishments. So all the detail, income from the real property, which means immovable property. In India, we call it as income from house property, then business profit, right? Then ships and aircraft, then associated enterprises, right? Dividends. So what happened in case if you receive dividend from a company which is located in Australia and earn the dividend from them? Okay, so what will happen? And then interest, okay, then the royalties, right? So everything is given. Okay, so all these it's given. And then if you want to search any other country of your choice, you can just go to the search option. You can do it. Okay, let me try with any other country, like Germany. There is a comprehensive agreement between India and Germany. Okay, so this is an agreement with Germany. Okay, the taxes which are covered, right? So what I'll do, I'll just give it to them. You can just go through it and you come out with the assignment to me, right? So that's what I used to give it to my students. So they'll come out with an assignment. So mostly they'll make a very comprehensive report, maybe for 10 pages. So what are the main component of this particular agreement between India and Australia? So we can also try in our classes, right? Suppose if the students are interested to go abroad, we can ask them to come out with a write up about the double taxation avoidance agreement between India and that particular country. Okay, so you can give them the choice. And then one more way of conducting classes are sometimes students will come and say, "Sir, I instead of a presentation or instead of group discussion, let me go for assignment, sir." Okay, so they'll ask me, "Sir, I'll go for an assignment. You just tell me, sir." Then I just told him. So A in taxation. So everywhere artificial intelligence it has entered everywhere, right? In every field, taxation. Is it possible? That's a question I asked him. And after 2 or 3 days, he said, "Sir, I reviewed on article, sir. In the article, they explained very nicely about AI in taxation." Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I got a doubt in between. Okay, so yeah, AI in taxation, is it possible? That's a question I asked him. He said, "Sir, instead of coming with an assignment, I'll come out with the presentation, sir. I'll just tell you, sir, what are the how the artificial intelligence is implemented in India, okay, in Indian tax system." So that's what he has given a very big presentation. But I just took a few glimpses from his presentation. Okay, so the first one is the Project Insight. So that's initiative taken by Indian tax authorities. I think the people who file the income tax return, you must be knowing there is a huge difference between the income tax filing portal last year and the current year. A lot of changes have done. Okay, so they have done. So last year, in case of ATC, what I can do, I can go and give my ATC detail directly. But this time, what happened? If it is a ATC, suppose if I paid a LIC premium, I have to provide the policy number, right, and the date of issue of policy, and when it will get matured. So all the detail I need to provide in my portal, right? So that's a change. That's a small change I told you. Likewise, lot of changes have come, right? Project Insight, this is one of the initiative taken by Indian tax authorities, sir, with the application of artificial intelligence. Okay, so and then e-filing 2.0 portal with chatbot assistance, right? So if you have any queries, you can ask and immediate reply you will get it. Okay, so that's what the real-time answers to taxpayers' questions, sir. That's another important change in the Indian tax authorities, sorry, Indian tax system. And then faceless assessment scheme, right? So everything, even the appeal, penalty, proceedings, investigation, so everything can be done through faceless manner. Okay. Then what are the roadblocks for AI implementation in taxation? That also he addressed. Okay, digital infrastructure challenges and AI and data science talent gap in India, right? Multilingual and diverse taxpayers base. Okay, so all the people may not be able to understand English. Okay, that's another one important roadblock was mentioned in the article. So he mentioned in the presentation. Okay, then what are the potential benefits of AI in taxation? Faster processing of tax return. I'm an evidence for this, right? So this time I filed my income tax return in front of my students. Afternoon 1 o'clock, 1:05, I think so. Afternoon, last hour of my class. We started at 11 o'clock and it went up to 1:05. So 1:05, I filed my return and everything. The last click of my income tax return was done at 1:05, and at night 10 o'clock I got my refund, and the refund was around 20,500 something. I got my refund on the same day. Usually it takes 15 days time, but this time, but few people it took time, right? And my friends, they said it took time, but I'm an evidence for this. And afternoon I filed my income tax return on the same day. It never happened. Okay, so last 5 6 years I'm getting refund. Okay, so but not 5 6 years, about 7 to 8 years I'm getting refund. Okay, so but still it never happened. It takes minimum 15 days time to get my excess tax paid as a refund with interest. But this time it happened immediately, right? And it's just because of artificial intelligence. That's what this boy also mentioned, and in the article also it's given. Avoids human errors and reduces the scope for tax evasion. Okay, so this is what the student has given, and the article name of the article and the author, everything I gave it in the references. You can refer it, right? So I'll give this PPT through the organizers. I'll circulate it. You can just refer this PPT and you can just refer the sources I have used. Okay, so I just told about the case. You can just read this case. So Mrs. X is 30 years old, employed in Delhi at A Limited. She gets 55,000 month basic salary. 15% of basic salary as DA, 100% is forming part of retirement benefit, and 10,000 per month is hard furnishing allowance, commission at the rate of 4,000 per month. Okay, A Limited provided a rent-free house at Delhi. Okay, and then it's A Limited at original cost of furniture provided in the house is 90,000. 500 of the house with the effect from 1st February 2025. I think in the beginning you may feel that it looks like a regular problem, right? A regular income tax problem. But after completing at least the 25% or 30% of the problem, you can make out, okay, it looks like a case, right? The company gives 2 months hard furnishing allowance as bonus, and the company has provided a laptop with the effect from 1st December 2024. Cost to the employer is 64,000, and a music system cost to the employer is 20,000 for personal use of Mrs. X. Right? Mrs. X owns a 1,200 cc car, which is used for official and personal purpose. So the car came to the picture. Right? The employer company reimburses the entire expenditure of car rupees 44,000 during the previous year, 2024-25. However, Mrs. X does not maintain the logbook in a car. Right? I think you must be knowing the provision for this, right? How to find out in case if the logbook is not maintained in the car. And the company issues sweat equity shares. So sweat equity share has come, right? On 1st January 2025. And Mrs. X during the previous year, Mrs. X spent 70,000 for the travel and conveyance. So she has received 64,000, but she spent 70,000 for a travel and conveyance during the appeal. This is less than the amount spent on travel and conveyance during the official visits. Okay. A Limited provides a credit card facility to Mrs. X, and she spent rupees 30,000 during the previous year. 90% of the credit card used related to the official use as per the certificate from the employer, which means the 10% of 30,000, 3,000 will be taxable in the hands of Mrs. X because it's a benefit received from the employer, right? It's a perquisite received from the employer. Mrs. X purchased a painting from the company. Cost of painting when purchased during 2021 September is 60,000. Sold to Mrs. X in June 2024 for rupees 10,000. Current market value of the painting is 25,000. Okay, so what does it mean? The 15,000 will be taxable in the hands of Mrs. X. Okay, so company gifted a computer in February 2025, which was purchased by the company in May 2020 for rupees 80,000. But the computer given by the company to the employee will not be taxable. Same like a laptop given by the company to the employee, right? It may, the employee may use it for official purpose also. Okay, so this is a exact case. The case is not over, it's going, right? So it looks like a person who is working in a private company, right? So he may get all these benefits in between what is that the RFA, rent free accommodation will be discontinued. Okay, is the student should have a knowledge about the calculation of rent free accommodation, and there is a furniture, and the student must be knowing the depreciation rate of furniture. Okay, the rate of depreciation for the furniture, that the student should know. Okay, then the company paid hard furnishing allowances bonus. That's not a problem. Company has provided a laptop. It's a perquisite, right? In the company employee, but used for official and personal purpose. So in case if the logbook is maintained, then we can make out the official purpose and the personal purpose will be taxable, right? In case if the reimbursement is done by the employer. So here they reimburse the money. And the company issues petty equity shares of 6 lakh rupees. Okay, all these happens, right? So now what happened? Only when the student learns the complete provisions of salary, and the student will be able to answer this question. But what I'll do, I used to solve this kind of problem in my classes. Then, this is from the question bank I have taken. I just told my students to prepare my own problems as a question. I gave it to some 10 students. I just told them five problem each student can take the cases alone, right? From the question bank I have taken, and they did some mistake and all in between. Simply they gave misses only, right? So X is missing somewhere else, here and there. Okay, so I just told them to come out with the question bank, and they prepared, and they asked me. They after the exam they came and told me, "Sir, what is this, sir? You taught us all the typical or very difficult case studies, sir. But they asked a very simple question like basic salary, dearness allowance, and bonus, HRA 10,000 per month, rent paid by the employees 5,000 per month, and the employees working in Chennai." Right? So like this, the ready-made information were given, sir. That's the kind of question we got. I said you were able to answer it, right? But here, what happened? The student will be able to face any kind of practical cases in taxation. So this particular problem, again, I have taken from Students' Guide to Income Tax, Vinod K. Sinkania and Monica Sinkania, and it's in the it's an illustration problem, right? Mostly they gave answer to all the problems discussed in their book, right? So there is no kind of exercise problem here. So I have taken from this book, Taxman's One, right? So yeah, you can also try this kind of problem in your class, right? And now come to the next one, the tax softwares. So these are all the softwares available, and in this clear tax is very easy to use. So I used to do this exercise in my classes. Let me do that. Okay, so I'll just go to clear tax. Yeah, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, madam. Okay, I hope you all can see this summary financial year 2025-26, which means the assessment year 26-27. So this exercise I used to do at the end of the even semester because the students would have learned all the exemptions, all the deductions, and to open their system. So I used to take them to the lab, right? I'll first I'll do this experiment in the screen, and then the students will observe everything, and then they'll sit and play, right? It's a kind of play for them, right? So here there are two options are given: new regime and then old regime. So if you want, we can go with the old or new regime, right? So here we can provide the details one by one, calculate for the previous year 2024-25 I'll give. Okay, yeah. Now to previous year 2025-26 only I'm doing. So return to be filed between 1st April 2026 or 31st December 2026. That's what is given, right? So I'll just use this one for this, the running month only it will come, right? So I can just find out what is my tax liability as of now. It's a basic detail. I'll just continue, right? For example, the basic detail, the age group is 0 to 60 I'm giving because you know that the significance of age, if you are above 60, you comes under the category of senior citizen, right? And then above 80, you'll come under the category of super citizen. So now we'll go to next one. So I can provide the income from salary, maybe around the 10 lakhs I'll give. Okay, taking time, right? 10 lakh rupees. Then exempted allowance also HRA, LTA, and other any other exemptions we can provide, right? Or income from interest on housing loan if it is a self-occupied up to 2 lakh rupees we can provide. But let me give 2,50,000. Okay, then how much it is taking? So it won't take 2,50,000. It will take only 2 lakhs. So let me give 2 lakhs. Right, it's not changing. Can you see that? Right, even if we give, suppose for example, if I give 1,50,000, yeah, it's changing. Can you see that? The tax liability, right? It is 75,400. Okay, so I didn't check the new regime. So now I'll give 2 lakhs, right? 2 lakhs, it is 65,000. So, but if I put 2,50,000, one second, 2,50,000, if I give, it won't change, right? It won't change. It's 65,000 only because the maximum it will take only 2 lakh rupees. Rental income, if anything is received, or interest on home loan let out, right? And income from any other assets or other income. Let me just go with the continue option, right? Here I can provide the ATC deductions. Okay, so let me give 1,50,000. My tax liability is reduced. Okay, then mediclaim insurance, I give some 20,000. Again, it will be reduced. So I'll just put view calculation. I can check. This is my total income. This is my taxable income, right? So the exemption and deduction is 75,000. So likewise, what we can do a small experiment in our class. So since I didn't get time, I didn't go in detail. Okay, I didn't have much time, so I didn't go in detail. So what I did, I just showed the software to you. It's a free software. It's available in the internet. You can just go to this website, cleartax.in, pay tax, tax calculator. You can just mention. So the link I have given in the PPT, so you can refer it. Okay, so I'll just go to the PPT once again. So these are all the other softwares are available, but little complicated. So we can make use of ClearFacts in our classes, right? So second, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because for me, people are not visible. Okay, no issues. And then the final one, as I told you, I informed my students one day in advance, sorry, 1 week in advance, the date, time, everything I have mentioned. I told them, so this is the day, this is the time I'm going to file my income tax return. Please do not take leave on the day, because nowadays it's a per hour attendance, right? So every hour the students can decide whether they want to come to the class or they don't want to come to the class, right? That they can decide. Those days I remember for a particular faculty class and all, we used to run and go. But nowadays it's gone, right? I won't say that for my class and all they come. No, it's not like that. The students knows when to attend and when not to attend, right? So they know everything. It's available in their hand. But only what we need to do, we need to facilitate them. So I'm just facilitating them to learn from different um, what is that, different avenues. Okay, so this is another important exercise I did. So I just told them, I just organized them in the lab, and before that I took permission from my head of the department, because it's my own personal filing in front of my students. I'm doing it, and a few of my friends, they said, no, no, it's wrong. Then I said, what about the auditors, right? You're giving to the auditor. The auditor is not doing it. The auditor is giving to the person who is undergoing the what is it, articleship in his office, right? So and they are filing. And one more thing, it's a self-assessment, and they are filing on your behalf. That's all, right? If you are a salaried associate, they are doing on your behalf. That's all. So they use your own PAN number and they get the OTP from you. Everything they get it from you, right? So what is wrong in that? See, I can show it to my students, right? And all my students knows my salary. All my students knows my income. Nothing wrong in that. I feel that. Okay, so I won't say that everyone should do it. But what we can do, we can go for just a demonstration. Okay, that's what I'm planning to do now. So again, I just want to tell you, it's all my what is that, personal thing. So I feel that I can show it to my students. So if you want, you can show it to your students. If you do not want to show, you can leave it. But what you can do, you can take it to the income tax portal. At least we need to take them to the income tax portal. The link I have given, but still, this is the income tax portal. So let me log in. Let me log in, right? At least we can make them to apply for the PAN, so which is mandatory now. So we can ask them to apply for the PAN, and the college is conducting PAN camp now. So the students are getting the PAN. So it's very slow since I have opened too many windows. Let me close few. Just a minute. Can use the hyperlink and all, but it's not using here. Sorry, it's not working here. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let me give my PAN. Yeah, I'll also give my password. It's an auto save one. That's why I didn't type the password. Yeah, what you can do, you can just show them this dashboard, wherein the student can select assessment year. Right now it's the 26-27 did not come, so we just started with we are in 2025-26. It's a previous year now, right? So later on it will open. As of now, 2024-25 previous year and 25-26 assessment year is visible here. If I select this option, it will ask me Do you want to file the return? No, because already I filed the return. Modify return and all, it will ask me, or update my return, but I'm not going to do. I've completed everything, right? So now select ITR type, everything we can select. The students can go, but I think majority of you knows that. But the people who doesn't, who didn't have the exposure to this website, I'm just showing to you. So you can just go through it. Later also you can just go through it, right? So here, what I'll do, I'll just show my students the view filed returns, whatever the returns I have filed so far, I can show it to them, right? Um, this is what the September month we have filed, okay, 2024-25, and likewise, it will be there. Okay, I told you, right? So on the same day, I got my refund, but it was credited in the bank account on the next day, right? So refund was due on the day, verified on September 3rd, and September 3, it was refund is due, the message I got, and the next day morning it was credited. Okay, that's an acknowledgement. Anything you want to ask? Someone is unmuted. Okay, so then I'll also download the forms to the students, and then I used to tell them, this is the way we can download the script, everything. You can show them. Okay, I used to show them. Then these are all the forms I'll show to file the income tax return, right? So this will give a real-time experience to the students. Okay, so they'll also get the confidence to file their income tax return. And I'll give them one more assignment. So if you are able to file the income tax return of your parent, and if you can show it to me the acknowledgement, right? So then I can also, they have to open it, right? They have to open it in front of me, and then they have to show me. So this is what I have filed for my parents, sir. This is what I got it, sir. Then I used to give them marks. So this is a practical thing they are doing it, right? So we should appreciate them. So I'll also show them all these forms, right? So person with a professional business or professional income, a person without business or professional income, what are the forms are applicable to them, right? Sometimes we may not be able to teach everything in the theoretical form. So if it is in the form of practical, it's easy to teach them. Okay, so a person not dependent on any source of income, right? So, and sometimes I'll ask them related to, what will happen if there is undisclosed income, right? Or what is that? The other name of undisclosed, unexplained income, right? What will happen if there is an unexplained income, right? So, what are the possible, what are the possible ways of disclosing your unexplained income? So that I used to ask them. Okay, that's another kind of assignment I used to give it to my students. Okay, so this is another practice I'm following. Yeah. Once again, I come back to the PPT. Yeah, I think I have 5 more minutes. So what I'm trying to conclude, so always we can have a blended teaching approach, which will be very effective, so which will make our classes very interesting. And the practical and digital methods are essential now. We cannot do anything because the students are very particular about the digital medias now, right? So we want to show something through digital platforms. Otherwise, they won't feel very interesting, right? And it enhances the compliance behavior, and it prepares students for real world of taxation. Okay, so this is what I try to conclude. And these are all the reference material I've used. Students Guide to Income Tax, Vinod K. Sinkhania and Monica Sinkhania, Taxman. And then I just informed you people about an article referred by my student. And again, it was in the Taxman website. Okay, so Sachin Mishra and Madhi Agarwal, Artificial Intelligence in Taxation. It is a very interesting article. I have a copy with me. If you want, I can share it with ma'am, and the ma'am can share it in your group, right? And then the clear tax in pay tax calculator, the web page. Then incometaxindia.gov.in, and then the portal, right? So for filing our income tax return. So these are all the reference material I have used for my presentation. So thank you so much. I think I finished it 3 minutes before 7 o'clock. Okay, so if you have anything to ask me or if you want to add anything to my presentation, you can speak now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a very useful, experiential learning session, sir. It's a wonderful session. Really, it is very useful for the budding professors want to excel in their career. So,
Thank you.
any professors want to clarify anything? Please raise your queries.
Again, I just want to tell you one more thing. So all these, it depends upon a person, right? So I feel like these can be done in my class, but you may have some other better idea than me. So you can also plan it in your regular classes, right? May not be taxation, even in other subjects you can follow it, right? I used to handle corporate accounting to my students. So I was trained as the accounts and the tax faculty. Okay, so since I studied in, I proudly say that I studied in southern part of Tamil Nadu. So I feel I'm very strong in accounting and taxation just because of my professors only, right? So yeah, if you have anything, you can ask me. Vijay Kumar sir, you have something to ask? Thank you.
Any questions? Please raise any queries or any clarifications.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
It was very useful for us, and so we can try to do like that.
Yes, ma'am.
And I
Thank
have
you.
one clarification. If it is
Yes, ma'am.
GST taxation,
Yes, ma'am.
this income tax we can use with our family members. That is possible. But for the GST
Ma'am,
taxation, is there any file version like that?
ma'am, we have softwares, ma'am. Even Tally can be used in your GST classes, ma'am. So I didn't mention about the GST, right? So I felt like I can go with the direct taxation much. So I didn't mention about taxation. Thanks, ma'am. Thank you for sharing this. I take my GST students to my computer lab wherein we have the Tally. So I used to explain them how the filing can be done. GST filing can be done with the help of a software, the Tally software, right? So that Tally is the best way to teach the students with regard to GST, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I feel like Tally is one of the best software to teach GST to the students.
Because when we are trying in the GST government portal, they were asking
Okay.
the number. So
GST
we are not
number,
able
GST
to.
number,
So yeah,
GST they'll ask me.
so
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
yeah,
But
we
Tally,
can't
you can,
demo it.
yes, ma'am. Tally, we can do some experiments, ma'am, with GST. So we
Try
can
to do that
experiment.
calculations. Okay,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir, and thank you very the professors. So really, this kind of FTP program often we need to equip ourselves with the potentials of advanced learning tools. So we are very fortunate to have such eminent personality in our midst today, share the valuable insights on this taxation subject. Once again, thank you so much, sir. Now I welcome
Thank you, ma'am.
Sabrimala, ma'am, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Commerce, V.O.CHIDAMBARAM College, Thuthukudi, to propose the vote of thanks. Ma'am, over to you, please, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Respected our resource person, Dr. V. Muthukumar, sir, Assistant Professor and Research Supervisor, Department of Commerce from Madras Christian College, Thiru V. Chekkalingam, sir, Secretary of B.O. Chidambaram College, Dr. C. Veerabagu, sir, Principal of B.O. Chidambaram College, Dr. Maria Nevi Sori, sir, Head of the Department of Commerce, and their faculty members. Good evening to all. On behalf of the Department of Commerce, I take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude and heartfelt thanks to our esteemed resource person, Dr. V. Muthukumar, sir, for sharing his valuable expertise, innovative teaching methodologies, and the practical insights related to the teaching and learning of taxation and e-filing returns. We greatly enrich the academic experience of all participants. We express our sincere gratitude to our respected Secretary Sir, Thiru V. Chokkalingam Sir, and the Principal, Dr. C.V. Sir, for continuous support and motivation towards academic excellence and faculty development initiatives. Our sincere thanks to the Head of the Department of Commerce, Dr. Marie Nevi Sori Sir, for his leadership, guidance, and encouragement in organizing this program successfully. Our special thanks to FTP coordinator Dr. Shaila Ma'am for dedicated efforts, effective planning, and excellent coordination which ensure the smooth conduct of the program. Once again, we thank everyone and their faculty members who contributed to making this faculty development program a grand success. Thank you, John.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for
Thank
the
you, sir.
opportunity. Thanks to
Thank you,
Suri
ma'am.
sir and thanks Shaila ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you all the
Thank you all the
professors and
professors.
ladies and
Thank you, ma'am.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a pleasant
Have a
evening.
pleasant evening.
Tomorrow we'll
Tomorrow
have
we will have
the last
the
day
last day.
session. We'll meet at 6 o'clock. So hope you have enjoyed the every 4 day sessions. So we'll hope for the best for the tomorrow session also. So have a great time. Thank you. Please fill the feedback form and leave the platform. Thank you all. So thank you so much, sir. Muthukumar, sir. Once again, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.